Recoil in Apex Legends is inherently broken by a mechanic that I call recoil smoothing. And my goal with this video is to give you the best understanding of recoil smoothing possible, and also how to implement it into your gameplay. Oh, that guy just got absolutely decimated. Recoil smoothing is the mechanic that makes your recoil go away if your crosshair is moving smoothly at a certain speed threshold or above. So let me show you. I shoot my gun at this wall. The gun clearly kicks up in the commonly known flatline recoil pattern without any input from me. But if I add input from me, that is purely horizontal movement from side to side. You can see the recoil is completely gone. This is a mechanic that I believe Respawn implemented to make tracking targets easier without the player having to think about why it's easier. Meaning that if you're tracking a moving target, or if you yourself are moving, and you track smoothly, you will not have recoil. Period. As long as your crosshair is moving at about 3.74 degrees per second, you will not have recoil. And what this implies is that at a range of up to about 34 meters with an assault rifle, if you track your target smoothly, you will have no recoil. No recoil control, no jitter aiming, only smooth movement of my mouse. Now this mechanic, recoil smoothing, is what jitter aiming relies on, because when you jitter like this, you move your mouse at a higher speed than 3.74 degrees per second, meaning the game applies this recoil smoothing while you're aiming in place and jittering. But that's not the point of this video. If you're more curious about jitter aiming, watch my video that I have linked in the description that I made last year. Another implication of recoil smoothing is that if you aim at a target that is moving, and you move in the opposite direction of the target that you're shooting at, you'll have a longer range where you can apply recoil smoothing to your shooting. Now, another implication of this is that the smoother your aim is, meaning the better you are at staying at one constant speed without being shaky at all with your aim, the more effective this technique is. Because if you're shaky, you'll periodically drop below that 3.74 degrees per second threshold, and you'll have recoil for a split second if your gun shoots during that time. Now, this is only an implication on mouse and keyboard. Controller always has perfect smoothing, because that is an inherent property of controller input. The main implication of recoil smoothing is that recoil patterns that people have learned and practice are completely useless and irrelevant in every single situation in Apex Legends if you know how to jitter aim. Because within ranges where recoil smoothing is applicable, you can just do recoil smoothing and track your target smoothly and you will have no recoil. Now this extends up to almost 70 meters if your opponent is moving the opposite direction of you, meaning that if you continuously end-time your opponent, you'll have no recoil up to almost 70 meters, which is further than this. And then for ranges outside of that, you can simply jitter aim. Because outside of that range, tracking your opponent's strafes becomes pretty irrelevant, and you can focus on jitter aiming the center of their strafe pattern, or just jitter aim at the specific spot or angle that they're peeking from. This also works with SMGs, so something like the CAR, which is pretty hard to control just by itself, and just track smoothly with it, and you'll have no recoil. I'm not pulling down, I'm not pulling anything regarding to the recoil pattern, because I don't even know it. I'm just aiming against my own strafe. And there you go. Combine both my videos and you have no recoil in pretty much any situation in Apex Legends. And please, stop jitter aiming moving targets. It does nothing. Just do recoil smoothing.